And do you think that there was anything though that stood out? I mean, obviously you were a little bit different because of your career path, and that's why they chose to have that angle, I guess. But do you think while you were doing it, you're like, oh, I have the upper hand because of this?
Honestly, no. Well, I did feel like I guess being an art dealer made gave them gave I feel like it made me memorable,
Hmm.
but it's weird. They're not really interviews. They're almost actually kind of like podcasts the way they're talking to you. I
Hmm.
think what they really cast on, in my belief, is personality.
Right.
Like, I don't think they really care if someone has something interesting. They really personality is what sells, I think, any reality show or show in general.
Right. And where did yours take place? I forget.
The filming was in LA for the pods,
Okay.
and then the DC portion, which I wasn't really a part of, was filmed in the DC area.
Okay. So was most of the cast from DC?
All of the cast was from the Washington DC area, like what they call the DMVs, like Northern Virginia,
Right.
so DC,
But you
Maryland,
didn't
everyone.
live there, right?
Oh, and Baltimore. Sorry, DC and Baltimore.
Okay.
No, no, I did live there at the time. I actually
Oh,
moved up to New York in between filming and the show's
the
release.
reunion. Oh,
Yeah.
the show's released.
Or
Okay,
the
yeah.
correct, yes.
Okay. And then so once you go on, like what do they tell you? You're going to be here for X amount of days, weeks, like how does it work?
So the pods, the total amount, you're there for like 2 weeks.
Hmm.
There's like an orientation where they show you around and how everything works and the cameras and all this, and then you end up having I guess it was 10 days of filming, 10 days, and it's the shortest and longest 10 days of your life. And then basically you're filming and you're in the pods all day.
And how do you like figure out, first of all, on day one, are you they say, okay, there's 15 girls and you get to pick X amount and you have to be in the pods X amount. Like, what are the logistics of that?
Sure. So the logistics of this, which actually I know I can talk about because it just they spoke about it in an interview, the creator. So they
Okay.
actually have an algorithm, which is really interesting. They used to do it by hand, I guess, but they got like it's an algorithm from like a Harvard economist or something, which is kind of crazy, or
Hmm.
something like that, where, all right, 15 guys, 15 girls. Each day you date less people for more time. Kind of makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So you rank them like 1 through 15, and then as they get less and less people, then obviously you're ranking less people, but they're also ranking you. So what the algorithm does is like if you rank them high and they rank you high, you obviously see them again. If
Hmm.
too low, you don't see them again. But what if like you rank them high, they ranked you low, maybe you see them? Or like what if a lot of people ranked you low, but and her low? Like, there's like all these factors that the algorithm like somehow figures out the optimal way to match people. But what's really tough is you have to cut a lot of people in the beginning
Mm.
because you go from like I guess 15, then you cut it down to half
Hmm.
after the first day. And so
And how much time are you given to talk to all 15?
talk to all 15, you're given like I- we might have to cut this part, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Okay. Well,
Um,
I'm just okay. So the reason why I'm asking the question is, are you given enough time with these people to decide whether or not you want to see them again, or like that they've made an impression on you, or does it seem more forced and the algorithm is deciding that for you?
no, I wouldn't say the algorithm decides it. Well, it's all based on how people choose. I'll
Hmm.
say this. Okay. Um, I'm sorry. I have to just think about this real quick. If I
Okay,
This is cool. Give me two minutes here. I'm just thinking.
that's fine. We'll
Um,
we'll cut this part out so it doesn't matter.
Appreciate it. Uh, okay, yeah. All right. So the I guess ask me the question and then I'll jump
Okay,
back.
so do you want me to ask it differently? Okay, so do you get enough time when you're starting out with the 15 people to feel like you can actually, rank them in order where you actually really know anything about them? Or, how do I guess my question is, do you have enough
Yeah.
time with these people?
I would say I almost not really. It's tough though. So basically, when you're dating the 15 people, it's like speed dating.
Okay.
Like I'll say it's like under half an hour. Like you're not spending a ton of time, like, because you're just trying to catch a real quick vibe. And, it's the first day. So you're like, you're kind of just giggly because you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. I'm in the pods. Like,
Right.
there's the wall, like all
Mhm.
this stuff. So, there's only so much you can. I mean, the funny thing is speed dating in real life, what, no, the thing they want, if you, which I feel like doesn't happen anymore. That's what dating apps are kind of. But it's
Mhm.
basically, do you find the other person attractive? Is the conversation moderately good, then you can see each other. But here, all you have is a conversation. So you might just, you have to make this big cut after the first day and you cut like
Mm.
half the people. So that was actually a ton of pressure because you're like, oh my God, like I've only talked to these people for a little bit of time. We haven't really gotten deep. Like
Right.
it's just been playful. So that gets hard. But I do think it all ultimately like shakes out and there's no other way to do it. So like everyone's ranking everybody else and then like the people that like each other get put together.
Got it. And then they usually have about 5 people that they're following. What if 10, 11, 12 people are getting proposed to, or does it just never work out that way?
I guess every season it's different.
Uh-huh.
Um, and like this season, there was two couples that got engaged that they didn't show.
Oh, did we
Yeah.
know that?
Uh, they, we know from, I'm like on Love is Blind social media all day, every day.
Okay.
So during the release. So, um, yeah, I guess we know that from their socials. And then there's also like TikTok accounts that like, they're basically like reality TV, like sleuth
Yeah.
reporter folks. Yeah,
Hmm.
there was two. There was a couple named Kylie and Brian. And then actually Brittany, the one who likes women
Yeah.
or has dated women in the past, I should say, got engaged to a guy named Mo. So she actually got engaged, interestingly enough, but they weren't shown. And the funny thing is, so in our season, 7 couples got engaged and 6 went to Mexico. Brittany and I were the only ones that didn't go to Mexico. But then ultimately we were still, our story was shown. So actually in our season, every couple that got engaged was shown.
Got it. Okay.
It's totally different every season.
Right. So what do you think that's like for the 2 couples that got engaged that weren't shown? Are they just like, oh, we don't find you interesting enough? Or like, how do they get cut, in your opinion?
Well, I don't, okay. I know how we didn't, when they told us we weren't going to Mexico, I had assumed that I would be cut. So I guess I can tell you what happened to me,
Okay, yeah, but
which
why
is
did you assume you would be cut? You guys got engaged and had a story like anyone else, no?
just because I had heard in past seasons that couples that get engaged that don't go to the vacation get cut. Like I think we are the only couple in Love is Blind that they showed us getting engaged. We didn't go further on and they showed our like actual reveal, but then also showed our story. Like I don't think they've actually ever done that before. So we were like a weird situation.
Right. So you
Um,
guys, and remind me, you guys got engaged. We see you get engaged. We see a little bit after, and then it says they decided to go to Miami together. That's it. And then we
right.
hear, and then we see you on the reunion, right? Is that
Correct. Exactly.
okay?
Exactly. That, and I guess the cast or the crowd was wondering like what happened? It's
Yeah,
kind of like a
right,
weird abrupt, right? So for us, they told us that they felt that we were like that had that we didn't have as big of a chance of getting married, they felt, as other couples. And to be fair, we didn't get married, so I can't argue with that logic.
right,
One thing they said in an interview or in like a expose thing is that I guess when we left the reveal, we didn't look back at each other, and that's very significant to them. You know what? It's which is
oh,
interesting, I guess. I don't even remember looking or not looking back. I don't, but that I guess was
okay.
very
Well, let's
big.
talk about that moment because you always see these people and they're getting ready and they're fixing their hair and the music's swelling and the guy's rechecking the ring. And first of all, where do you get the ring? Do they supply you with the ring? Do they pay for it?
They
Do they
supply the
pick it
ring.
out?
No, we pick it out.
Okay.
We
And you
pick
get
out
to
the ring.
keep it if you get engaged.
Yeah, Brittany, for example, right, correct. Even though Brittany and I are no longer engaged, she gets to keep the ring. It's funny. I had people be like, "Did you ask for the ring back?" I'm like, "I didn't even pay for the ring." Like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm not gonna ask for the ring back. That's such a like. I guess there's one season where I guess Marshall was asking for the ring back,
Right.
and at first it seemed like, oh, she's being mean by not giving him the ring back. I'm like, dude, you didn't even pay for the ring. Like,
Right, right, right. Okay, so
yeah,
the ring becomes your guys' property.
correct. But what's interesting is the way you pick it is there's almost like a like you don't know what their finger looks like or anything. So you're talking about it and they kind of give you like a little sheet that has like a couple options to choose from and you
Uh-huh.
kind of have like A and B. It's very stressful in the moment because I think picking a ring is pretty important.
Yeah.
And even if it's in a crazy situation like a reality show, so I was like sweating and the way it happened, you're you kind of only had like I feel like I had like a couple minutes to decide because there's so much going on all at once, which is
Mm,
like the opposite of normal ring shopping is like I feel like the guy wants to kill himself by the end of it because there's so much, decisions to be made. So in
right.
a sense, it was the most stressful 3 minutes, but then I guess I also got it over with.